community. I have two members of the what's called the Drum and Bugle Corps, and it's the A Corps. And I have with me Steve Schuff, is it,
Yeah.
Steve? I didn't pronounce that before. Steve has gone to DVC, and he's going to be a pre-dental student at UOP in the fall. And he's in the left of your picture, and Jeff DeMello is on the right of your picture. He just graduated from Chico State. You went to College Park High School, right?
Right.
How long have you been a member of Blue Devils?
For the last 6 years.
I talked at the beginning of the show about the sacrifice that young people make. Give my viewers an idea of your schedule for the summer, Jeff. You graduated in May, right?
Right. I had the problem because I was up in Chico, and that's a long commute for practice. So I came down maybe once a month for practice. And then, well, I've had enough experience so I can survive on that little amount of practice. And I practice up at school by myself. And we come down, and then we usually start. People are still in high school, so we have to hold down practice till two times a week in the summer. Mm-hmm. I mean, in the winter. And then in the summer, we go to about 12 hours a day, plus tours across the United States.
Now, normally on a day like this, on Thursday morning, you would leave where? Go to 9 o'clock in the morning and go to a practice where?
At a field we call Mars. It's our own practice field. We have donated to us by Lions Oil. And we go out there. It's way out in the oil fields. We don't disturb anybody, which has been a hassle sometimes.
I don't think you disturb people, but some people think you think that. All right.
And we get out there, we practice for about 3 or 4 hours, have an hour for lunch, come back, practice till about 5 or 6, hour and a half, 2 hours for dinner, then come back, practice till about 10 at night.
Now, it's been 100 degrees this week in Contra Costa County. Mm-hmm. How are you surviving?
It's a lot of water. It takes a lot of. We are out there, it usually gets up 110, 115 out in the field, but it's conditioning.
They don't slow down at all. I mean,
Nope,
the heat's
not a
there,
bit.
and you just, that's it.
That's it.
Anybody get a hose and just wet you down?
Oh, we just do whatever we can.
Steve, what's your schedule like? You're going to go to UOP this year, and you've been at DVC. How long have you been in Blue Devils?
This is my 3rd year.
Now, you just came back from a trip. The whole Corps just returned from a trip.
Yeah, yesterday afternoon we just got back.
Where did you go?
We went all the way to the East Coast to Boston and Pennsylvania, and then we went up to Montreal, had a show in Montreal and Toronto, Canada, and then we came back home, had a couple more shows on the way home.
How long were you gone?
3 weeks.
And you went by bus?
Yeah, 3 Greyhound scenic cruisers.
3 buses. One for the instruments, or did you fit those in with the
No, we have 130 people, and we all had to have our own seat in the bus. It's like our home for the summer.
And yeah, it is your home for 3 weeks. You eat, live, and breathe on that bus. Do you have a special truck that follows it with all the instruments?
Yeah, we have a 5th-wheeler trailer that carries all our drums and our horns and our uniforms.
Now, what did you do? You competed, or was some of those just demonstrations, or was it competition the whole time?
Most of them were competitions. We had 1 or 2 exhibitions, and sometimes we do clinics for local marching bands and help show them what we do, help them out.
What do you remember most and best about the whole trip? Any funny incidents, or I can see Jeff is giggling. I'm going to get to you in a minute, so you think of something too.
Well, the long bus rides are kind of interesting. Everyone just sits on the bus and sleeps all day because we go like 12 hours a day, all night, sometimes on the buses.
Had you ever been personally to that part of the country, to Boston and all?
I went once a few years ago with my family, but with the Corps, we travel all over the entire country, see a lot of stuff.
So it's a real learning experience for you, right?
Yeah, you get to see it.
We have some film about a marching group that's been put out. It was produced about 3 or 4 years ago. Jeff, you want to tell us who the group is? It isn't the Blue Devils on that film, but it might be you in a few years.
This is the Santa Clara Vanguard Drum and Bugle Corps. They're from Santa Clara, California, and they've been national champions twice. Very competitive group. It's been our chief competitor out here in California.
Have they really? Now, what titles does there we see them in a distance working. This gives you an idea of what you would see at Precision West 78.
Well, correct.
Because they'll be a guest, right?
Right.
What are the titles now that the Blue Devils hold?
Okay, we hold DCI, Drum Corps International National Championships for the last 2 years. And we hold CYO, Christian Youth Organization titles for a couple of years. World Open Drum and Bugle Corps Championships. We hold 2 of those titles. And Santa Clara Vanguard, who you see now, also have been DCI champs for 2 years.
What is the most prestigious title for you to win? What's the one big apple that you kind of try to grab?
It's the DCI National Championship. It's a drum corps. DCI is Drum Corps International, a national organization which oversees all the drum corps. And we are a member of that, and most drum corps, the top 12 drum corps, have one final competition at the end of the year, and that's determined
Where was that last year?
in Denver, Colorado.
And you won the title. Where will it be this year?
It'll be in Denver again this year.
Why always Denver?
Well, they hold DCI for 2 years in one spot. Like for the 2 years previous to Denver, it was in Philadelphia. And then
Well, Denver's a little closer. It doesn't cost quite so much to get there. What should I look for, Steve, when I come to Precision West 78? Now, it's going to be July 29th, a week from Saturday. And I'm going to see groups like this marching. And I don't know much about it other than what the normal layman should look for and enjoy. What would you look for, since you're an expert and you do this all the time?
Well, I like the horn lights. I like to listen to the music, and if it's nice and loud, and then if it's entertaining, and if they play it clean, and everything is played right, or if they play out of tune or in tune, it's nice to listen to.
So now you're listening more for the sound of the music rather than the marching.
Yeah, I like to listen.
You like to listen more, because you're a horn man. Both of you are in the horn line. What about you, Jeff? Do you listen for the sound more than the marching?
Well, of course, I like to listen to the sound more than everything, but the visual effects are really nice. Like Santa Clara and us, we specialize in making really nice formations. We've had a lot of comments on it. The visual formations flow within patterns of music, and it's accented with the color guard, and it's a very nice effect just to watch.
All right, now at Precision West 78 at Diablo Valley College, how many will be marching in your group?
128.
128. That includes the drums, the bugles, the color guard, right? All right, now I've noticed something about the Blue Devils the last couple of years, especially in the Walnut Festival Parade. They seem to be playing softer. Now, maybe it's my imagination, but we watch you come down the street, and it seems very soft that you're playing, not blasting us off the street. And I love to be blasted out. I just, it just makes my heart beat, and I get goosebumps all over me. Has it just happened, or is the style changing for walking down street parades rather than in football stadiums?
Okay, we're not a parade corps as such. We do parades for whoever, and then our main interest is doing a 13-minute field show, and this field show is coordinated with the music, and the music we happen to pick this year is Stan Kenton's arrangement of Chicago 3 Suite, and we have an arrangement of Legend of One-Eyed Sailor from Chuck Mangione, who's a very popular jazz musician, and something by Chick Corea. And this is coordinated, highlighted with the color guard and the drum line, and we do the flows of the patterns to this. And it's going down straight and marching straight lines in a parade. It's you lose all the effect. It's just, we just play the notes. You have to have the visual accent with the music. With the music.
Well, then it probably just happened that when I heard you in the parade, you might have been playing the softer part. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Although you were going by the reviewing stand. And I would think that they're judging you on the quality of your music as well as the precision in your lines and the way they lined up in the parade and all. Maybe it just happened that way. The number that you see on the screen is the one that you can call for tickets to Precision West 78 next Saturday, a week from Saturday night, the 29th at DVC. Steve, who are some of the other groups that are going to be marching?
Well, the Santa Clara Vanguard will be there, the ones that were on the screen, and the Blue Devils B Corps, the junior corps, so all the littler kids at March will be there. Some of the other local corps, I think the Conquistadors might be there.
Conquistadors are from where?
South San
Francisco.
South San Francisco. Okay, you went blank there for a minute, didn't you? Anybody else you can remember, Jeff?
The freelancers, the Capital Freelancers from Sacramento will be there. The Mandarins.
Where are they from?
Sacramento, too. And I think that's about it.
So there are about 5 or 6 groups? Okay. And you do this, is this a fundraiser or is it just a competition that you have in your backyard?
It's a competition.
Okay.
It'll be held at like this one, the next one we're going to afterwards is going to be at Sacramento State University. And each corps presents their 13-minute show, and hopefully we'll win.
Precision West 78 at DVC, July 29th. Why don't you go on out and enjoy it? Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow, I hope. Bye-bye. Precision West 78. We talked about it on yesterday's show. If you didn't get to hear about it then, we're going to talk about it today because we think it's a super show and a special show that's held here at Diablo Valley College, and it features and is sponsored by the Concord Blue Devils. I have two young women who, one of them is a teacher, which I think is rather interesting. I asked her to come on my show today. Shirley Stratton is in the left of your picture, and she's a teacher. And Joanne Long is in what they call rifles. They call you, what are you? I'm a rifle?
Yes.
Do you think of yourself as a rifle?
Yes.
Do you? Why?
Yeah. Well, that's just the name of the section, and when anybody wants somebody in that section, they just yell out rifles, and 12 people will appear.
When you're going to sleep at night or when you're just first waking up in the morning, are you going in your mind through all these motions? Do you dream about it?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Do you dream get hitting in the face with a rifle? Because you do, don't you, right?
Yeah, you do. Not very often, hopefully, but yeah.
What's the worst thing that's ever happened to you?
I got hit in the mouth with one of my rifles.
Yourself?
Yeah.
Because you do all sorts of twisting around and so forth. Pretty bad? Was it a bad injury?
Well, my lip got pretty swollen, but I had braces on at the time, so it didn't hurt my teeth at all.
Oh, that's even worse. That really hurts at the time. You have nice teeth, though, in spite of it, right? Tell us a story about you, Joanne, because you were kind of a transplant because of the Blue Devils, right?
Right. Yeah, I've lived in L.A. most of my life, and I marched with different color guards and groups down there, and I had heard of the Blue Devils, and I had seen them in different shows and competitions, and I wanted to march with the Blue Devils, so I made a couple of phone calls and came up here, and I've been up here for 3 years.
You've been supporting yourself up here?
Some of the time I've supported myself, and half the time I've been going to school and being helped out by my parents.
What's your ambition then, other than this summer? How old are you now?
20.
Oh, they're going to kick you out pretty soon, right?
I have one more year after this.
They kick them out when after they're 21? I should say they release you to the world or something. You think of it as being kicked out, though, don't you? Yeah, the kids yesterday said that because they were disappointed they had to leave. What are you going to do then? Do you know?
Well, I want to finish school and just do as much as I can. I'm planning on being a teacher.
Oh, that's tough right now, too.
Yeah, right.
And you've been in the Blue Devils for how long?
3 years. Before
Before that, how long did you march, or who were you with?
I marched for 5 years with a color guard down in the LA area.
What part of LA was it?
Cypress. It's in Orange County. It's by Anaheim.
Okay, all right. Now, someone has to teach these young ladies how to do whatever, twist and march with the route. What do you call it?
Twirling.
Twirling. Okay.
It's
all right.
basic.
Shirley Stratton is a teacher. And of course, she came along to be with Joanne, and I said, come on the show, because I think it's very interesting to find out how they learn to do what they're doing. Now, let's start backing up a little bit with you. Shirley, you were in the Blue Devils, right?
Yeah, for about 8 years.
When did you first join?
I joined in 1968.
They weren't the international champions then.
They weren't much then.
How many were in then? Do you remember?
Well, I joined the second unit that was formed. The original unit was a drum and bell corps, and as those kids grew up, they decided to go from the junior division into the senior division, and then formed a junior group again. So I joined the younger group, and then from that sprouted majorette corps, 2 majorette corps, and then the older group decided that they wanted to be a drum and bugle corps. And
what did you do when you first got into Blue Devils?
I played the glockenspiel.
Oh, did you really?
Yes.
How long did you stay with that?
Not very long.
No, why not?
I didn't like it. It was a year. I was a glockenspiel for a year. But I wanted to be a rifle.
Why did you want to be a rifle?
It's a small section of the corps that's highlighted on the field a lot. And it's a specialty. And everybody who looks at a color guard is drawn to the rifle line first. And anybody who has any kind of an ego wants to be a star.
You're all hymns, like my
Yes.
last guest and like I am. We all are. Well, you have to be to perform. You have to like that. What do you look for when you're teaching them to be in line and twirl and so forth? What are the important things to do?
Initially, concentration and stamina and dedication.
Stamina.
In order to get anything started, you have to be able to concentrate for 13 minutes on something that's very difficult. And during that 13 minutes, any slight break in concentration will cause an error. And in drum corps competition, any error is an error, and every error costs 1/10 of a point. So if you fall down on the ground or completely forget where you are out there, it's 1/10 of a point. But if you move your hand differently than anybody else does, it's 1/10 of a point too.
So the slightest move is just as bad as falling on your face.
So it ends up being a really heavy concentration. You have to really build up your stamina, not only to be able to breathe and move quickly for 13 minutes, but you have to be able to concentrate on it the entire time.
What should we look for as novices and not knowing about a drum and bugle corps, in particular the rifles? What should we look for?
Basically just entertainment value. You just look for things that entertain you. They're exciting. And the rifle line is noted for doing things that are difficult to do, hard to do.
What's the most difficult thing you do in the rifle line?
It's hard to say.
Besides hit yourself in the mouth
Really?
with braces on.
The rifles throw their rifles up in the air and they revolve 4 times and come down. And they probably go up in the air maybe 15 feet. And that's just a rudimental move for them.
But is that their most difficult move?
No. Their most difficult move may be when they do that while they're walking through horn players on either side of them who have 4 foot of horn sticking out in front. And the rifle has to go up just before they get to the horn and come down just after they get past the horn. And if there's wind blowing, that's a factor. There's a lot of factors involved.
Are the rifles made of pure wood, or is there metal?
They're a lightweight wood. They're made by one of the fathers in the Corps who insanely said, I'll do it for you.
They're handmade?
They're handmade, yeah, and hand-painted. And
how much do they weigh?
Oh, they weigh about 3 pounds, anywhere from 2.5 to 3 pounds.
But they're pretty tough on your hands, are they not?
Yes.
No fingernails. Nobody can have
no,
long
you
nails.
can't. Fingernails are suicide. And anybody who wants nice, soft hands
doesn't become a rifle.
Twirl a baton.
Now, we have the number up so that you can buy tickets to Precision West 78. Briefly tell us, why don't you tell us where it is, when it is, then we'll get to the other guests, the other young guys who are here.
Okay, the show's at DVC, and it's on the 29th of July, and it starts at 7. And there will be several corps from surrounding areas. The Santa Clara Vanguard from Santa Clara, and they're a really good drum and bugle corps. And
they've been national champions a
yes,
couple of times.
Yeah.
Okay.
And one of our strongest competitors.
I had a question that went purely right out of my mind. You just won a national title, another. You meaning the Blue Devils. What title was that?
The Drum Corps International Championship at Denver.
You just won that last year. You're
Right.
going for it again this summer. All right, and this is part of the training that you have for it. Precision West is the only time we'll get to see the Blue Devils here doing that kind of competition. Okay, I knew I was going to ask you. I'll ask the other couple. We're going to take a break, and they're going to meet 2 more members of the A-Team Drum and Bugle Corps of the Concord Blue Devils. These young ladies have been in the rifles. So Shirley Stratton and Joanne Long, thank you both very much.
Thank you.
And then we're going to be back in a minute, so don't go away. We got some film to show you, too.
The sound of strings. The sound of brass. The sound of great vocals.
My eyes adore you. Though I never laid a hand on you, my eyes adore you.
And the feel of goosebumps.
The very thought of you, and I forget to do.
This is music from 990 on your dial, KKIS.
I'll tell you right now something about our community calendar, and that deals with the Diablo Music Festival, which is going to be held July 19th through the 30th of July. It's held at the Commons at Las Lomas High School, which is on South Main Street. They have an opening concert on the, they had one last week and they did a Beethoven, but this week they do on the 23rd, instead of being at Las Lomas, they have one concert. It's a recital, I should say, piano recital at the Civic Arts Theater. Then they start again on the 26th. They have an orchestra concert, and they do Stravinsky. They have a recital on the 28th, a flautist. They have an opera piccola on the 29th and the 30th. All programs begin at 8 p.m., and they have a pre-concert discussion on the picnic grounds at 6:30. Las Lomas High School Diablo Music Festival. And they have a free diet clinic scheduled for this week at the Contra Costa Heart Association, which is in the same building as we are down here at Channel 6. The address is 1440 Crokerts Road in Walnut Creek. All interested persons are invited. It'll be from 10 a.m. until noon at the Heart Association. They have a dietitian who will conduct the session, which will be followed by a question and answer period. She will stress recipes and information of specific interest to heart patients, but of general interest to the public. So if you are trying to diet, you want to lose weight, you have high blood pressure, and you'd like to know from an expert how you might better accomplish that, come down to the Heart Association 10 a.m. next Wednesday, the 26th. Two other members of the Concord Blue Devils are with me. They are Greg Britton, who is in the left of your picture, and Debbie Stark, who's on the right. These young people spend, I am told, 12 hours a day in the summertime rehearsing for their cross-country tours and for Precision West 78 and for, of course, the national title. How they do it is amazing to me because some of them are older and working. Debbie, you are still in high school, right?
Yes.
Where do you go to school? What
I
year?
go to Clayton Valley, and I'm a junior.
And you give up everything else for the summer?
Yes.
No jobs, no way to earn money?
No.
Why do you do it?
I like it.
How long have you been in the Blue Devil?
4 years, 2 years in the B Corps.
And what do? You
I'm a pike.
A pike. What's a pike?
It's a tall pole with a flag on it.
And how many of those young ladies walk along with these big flags?
24.
Do they have any other flags? It's just the pike poles that you do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we talked before about the rifles, how you get beat up with the rifles. How about the pike?
I never gotten hurt.
You haven't? Well, don't you kind of slam that thing on your shoulders and all that?
Sometimes.
I say slam. I guess you don't call it that. Doesn't that hurt?
Yeah.
What do you do, build up calluses to it?
Just get bruises.
Just get a few bruises when you're in high school. I guess it doesn't matter. Greg, what do you do? You're a DVC, right?
Yeah.
And what do you do in the Corps?
Play timpani.
Timpani what? Timpani drums?
Yeah.
You know, a lot of us are not musicians. We go out and enjoy this whole thing, but we don't know what you do. How long have you been in the Corps?
It's my 5th year.
And how did you learn to play drums? Had you always been in the drums?
Yeah, ever since I started music, which was like back in 6th grade, you know, and you get whatever, you know, you don't get really a lot of training in schools. Usually I really started to advance the drummer when I joined the Blue Devils.
Who teaches you how to do all of this, or do you learn from the general instructor?
Yeah, you know, we have a number of drum instructors, like about 5 now.
Do you?
Yeah.
And what's the most important part of your job as a timpani drummer in the band? Is it the sound? Is it where you march, or is it a combination?
It's our playing. Generally, the drum section does not involved in the, you know, marching patterns the rest of the corps is. We sort of tend to be concentrated in the middle of the field, and play.
They move around you.
Yeah.
You move some, but not quite as much as the others.
Right.
Why? Because it's too difficult to move with them?
Yeah, there's no way we can play the stuff that we play, you know, and move around in the kind of, you know, patterns that everyone else does.
We had some film that people at Blue Devils were nice enough to share with us, and it was taken, a couple of years ago to give you an idea of what drum and bugle is all about. And it features the Santa Clara Vanguard, so it shows you an idea of what they go through and what you might see at Precision West 78. So these are the horns. Of course, it was taken at night, so we apologize for the quality of the film is a little bit darker than usual. Is there one part of the band that's supposed to be the glamour section? In your opinion, Greg?
I'd say there's a number of sections, like, you know, each of the, you know, like in the color guard, it's the rifle line. In the drum section is to be a snare drum. You know, in the horn line, you'd like to be a soloist, or, you know, at least a lead soprano.
Now, did you have to try out when you started with the Blue Devils?
Yeah.
And what do they want to do? They want to see you march, or they want to hear you play?
Hear you play.
Do you go home after 12 hours of practicing and play at all?
Usually not.
How could you have time to do any of that? Now, give me an idea of what your schedule is like on a normal summer day.
Well, I know. Last summer, what we do is like we about 9 o'clock. We practice at 9:10, and then practice like maybe 12 o'clock. That time we do marching warm-ups, and we maybe like do a half-hour endurance roll. We usually take a couple hours off in the afternoon, and then come back with the whole corps for the rest of the day.
Now, what do you mean by an endurance roll?
Well, playing drums is like a really physical thing, and the more strength you have, the easier it is to play. So,
right.
we try to do these things. We'll just roll for like a half hour.
You mean with the drums?
Yeah.
You just be...
Like a roll, and it's really hard to do, and it builds up your strength.
Well, I guess it's like a swimmer. You're just swimming for laps so that you build up your endurance so that you can swim in a meet. All right. Tell us about the Santa Claus. Now, what group would that be? What are they doing? Tell me this.
This is their bottle dance. It's one of the big things they do. They're still doing it today. And they've been doing it for a number of years, and it's a really good crowd GE thing. So the rifles, on the ground and whatnot.
So that's the rifle. They put the rifles down and then do that. Do the Blue Devils do anything like that?
No.
Do you try not to copy another group but be original?
Well, yes and no. You like not to copy, but if you see something good, there's a tendency to put it in.
Right. Debbie, do you think people in Contra Costa County know who the Blue Devils are and appreciate all the titles that you win? Do you? I had two young men on the show yesterday, and they didn't think people know. If you could tell anybody about the Blue Devils, why you belong to it, and what it does for you, what could you tell them?
Well, it keeps me occupied. I really enjoy doing it.
How about you, Greg?
I think it's a sort of a fun thing to do. The idea of the competitions and winning and whatnot. But it's also really good. As I said, the development as a drummer just gotten lots better every year that I've been in.
Oh, and of course, it's the prestige of being with an international champion, and they'll be going for that new title in Denver this summer. July 29th, DVC, 7 o'clock. You saw the number on the screen. Why don't you call it and get some tickets? Precision West 78. Have a good day. Have a good weekend. We'll see you on Monday, I hope. Bye-bye.
Thanks for being with us on Speakeasy today. Join Kathy and all her guests Monday through Friday at 10:30, 3:30, and 8, only on your community station in Walnut Creek.